Hello and welcome to your tropical update for August 13th, 2026. We do have Tropical Storm Lala, which is going to aim for Hawaii, but we do have a lot of good news with this storm and the storms over in the Atlantic as well. So here is our cone on Lala. This one is expected to stay a tropical storm. It could very well be a hurricane to the south or on the southern end of Hawaii Island here, which is the big island of Hawaii. The big impacts will be on the northern side. So unless you're like on a very, very far southern part of this cone, it will still have heavy impacts if you're in the South Island, and still widespread impacts for the other islands as well. And again, here's our satellite imagery. Here's Lala. We actually have a defined core today, compared to yesterday at about 20Z. Legitimately, it has really grown quickly, and it will start strengthening slowly as it heads northwest. Here's the new path from the Euro AI model. This one takes it maybe just to the south, but still heavy impacts and some outer impacts on the northern islands as well. The AI GFS, on the other hand, shows it a little bit further south and then just a random jog to the north, which would be a direct impact then. And our Euro still brings it real close and makes an impact. Oh yeah, I also forgot, we have another tropical storm in the East Pac as well. We have Tropical Storm Hernan. This one is not going to be much. It's going to drift directly southeast and then back to the west. It's not going to last long at all. And then we are going to see this storm probably strengthen into a hurricane. Big thing here is the Google model still has it as a direct landfall as a high-end Cat 1 up to a Cat 2 on the island of Hawaii. So if this storm does take this path, if the Google is right, this would be a worst-case scenario, and we'd still have widespread strong impacts. Also, do want to mention, the Big Island has never been struck with a hurricane. So if this storm would actually make landfall, it would be the strongest to this island on record. Now, as it moves to the west, it's going to move into the eastern West Pacific, and it could move as far west as maybe impacting Japan. A lot of them still take it to the north, but this area is very uncertain. And just like I expected, the average would take it further to the west, as that's what all of our other models were showing. And now the Google is finally agreeing. It also just didn't encompass all of the ensembles for the extended forecast out there. Looking at our Atlantic for actual development, Cristobal's already post-tropical. Hardly anyone knows about this tropical storm, actually. I briefly covered it yesterday, and I'm not going to cover it after today, basically. And then we still have two areas with 50% chances of development. This one up front does have a 60% chance of development, but it is likely to decrease as well. And because it was at 80%, now it's at 60% and is likely to gonna downtrend as well, as they do have some dry air with them. The second area behind it will probably peak at 50%. This one does still have a small chance of development yet. Taking a look at our broad picture, you can see this one has become less organized. It was looking really organized when it was back here. Now it has a lot of dry air in it and some wind shear. This is exactly why this one should be not developing. We're hoping it won't develop, but we are hoping that we get some of these rains to move into the Eastern Caribbean, as a lot of the Caribbean is in a drought because of the El Nino. Although we do have some rain over in Cuba and over in the DR right now. But areas over here, not experiencing any rain right now. And the tropical wave behind it still looking decently well defined. but is expected to run into some dry air. Even if it does form, it's not expected to last long. Taking a look at our ensembles, the Google has like 6 members on it out of its 50 members. And guess what? All of them are to the north of the Caribbean, and none of them make it direct landfall to the US. So I think there is definitely no threat there. Now, gonna briefly touch on long range for all 3 basins real quick. Over here in East Pac, Hernan's gonna die out, and to the west, I've already covered Lala already. Behind these, though, we have another signal for a storm to develop well to the west of Mexico, but this one does not seem like it's going to be a threat to Hawaii. But there's another area to the west of that does have a couple ensembles taking it toward Hawaii, but at this point, I think you just gotta deal with Lala for now. But this is my warning, you could have 2 storms within a couple weeks of each other. Moving over to the western Pacific, we have Nanka, which is basically nothing now. We have Pailu, which is nothing as well. Eventually, we're going to watch potentially 2 areas, one over here to the east of Taiwan and another one to the south of China in the South China Sea. And both are expected to impact land at some point, but not at high intensity, so that is good news. You guys are all well prepared for these weaker systems. You have them all throughout the year, so not really worrying there. The areas that do worry me would be the areas way out here, which could develop. We could actually have multiple storms developing as we head toward the last week of August, and we could have a couple of these make it up there to major typhoon or super typhoon status, depending on the track and the conditions around them. That is all I have for you today. I will see you in even more detail tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching.